When we left the Judeans in the last episode, they were living as exiles in Babylonia, trying to keep their faith alive and uniting their people in this strange land. The Judeans' freedom from Babylonian exile came in the form of King Cyrus of Persia in 539 BCE. Persia, modern-day Iran, overthrew Babylonia, and as per Persian custom, they allowed exiles to return to their lands. More so, King Cyrus helped the exiles to rebuild their temples, as their motto was one of political and religious tolerance, although his taxation policies exploited already poor peasants. The Judeans did not return to a flourishing Jerusalem though. The city, and many other Judean cities, lay in ruin. The religion of the Judeans who stayed in Palestine was also very different to the religion the exiled Judeans developed. The disciples of Isaiah, who wrote the last 10 chapters, tried to encourage the Judeans in Palestine to return to Yahweh. Yahweh would then re-establish a new world, but if they failed to follow Yahweh's instructions, they could be punished like their ancestors. Many prophets believed that the Zion theology would be reinstituted, with the temple rebuilt in 515 BCE. Prophets like Haggai and Zechariah proclaimed that Judah will once more have one temple, one religion, and one king in the form of Zerubbabel, who was a descendant of David. Yahweh would then return to the temple, and an era of blessing and prosperity would be ushered in, but only if the Judeans returned to worshiping Yahweh alone. Unfortunately, circumstances were not ideal in Judah. The inhabitants experienced drought, famine, and poverty, which did not instill a sense of blessing and prosperity. In fact, most Judeans felt that there was no advantage in serving Yahweh. We read in the book of Malachi, author unknown, how the inhabitants and religious leaders were reprimanded about their slackness in their religious lives. Prophets had to adapt their message about Yahweh to the poor living conditions the Judeans found themselves in. The last few chapters of Zechariah, also written by unknown authors, are adaptations of other prophets' proclamations. These authors held that times are tough, but it will get better. We find the same adaptation in the second half of Joel. Like last chapters of Zechariah, the second part of Joel promises that the day of Yahweh will come. All will be restored, and the nations who oppressed Judah will be punished. In the next episode, we are going to look at the two most prominent voices of the post-exilic period, Ezra and Nehemiah, and how they interpreted events. We will also look at other books which were either written and or completed in this period.